Hi guys, this is Paul and welcome back to GeeksLoveDogs Book Dragons. And I posed a question in the thumbnail, would this independent YA book be banned? And I will address it, but first some background for context. When I started this channel, I wanted to be able to promote and share lesser known and independent authors, knowing that it would bring a lot less views than, say, if I had made A Wheel of Time or Brandon Sanderson or Stephen King my main focus, but I've never done things the easy way. I was inspired by Mark Lawrence's SPFBO contest that promoted independent authors, and I have found a lot of great books and writers because of it, and I felt it to be a noble cause as well as something I'd enjoy. So I'm given this opportunity when a gentleman and his wife came into my work and we started talking. And Scott A. Ferguson Sr. is a retired Secret Service agent who took up writing after retiring. See, it's never too late to try something new. And him and his wife were just fantastic. I loved them. So I told him that I'd love to read his book and I'd review it on the channel. So he gave me a copy of his book, Escape, and he signed it for me. And here we are. I was excited to give it a shot, even if I was a little concerned, all things considered. This, being an unknown entity, it could go a bit sideways. But I was looking forward to the attempt and getting a shot to share a new author with everyone about the book. It is a YA book, and the back touts it as Hunger Games meets The Man in the High Castle. I think the Hunger Games aspect is a bit inaccurate, unless you're looking at some of the political aspects a little bit, but I can see the Philip K. Dick reference. I would say the first half feels more like Diary of Anne Frank inside The Man in the High Castle, and the second half is more of an adventure story set in an alternative World War II-like world. The book follows Abigail Henderson telling her story of her youth, when her family is killed and she is taken as a slave by the fascist empire. She is put on the slave block and sold to an elderly doctor to become the companion of his newly blind granddaughter, thus saving her from being sold into a life most young girls are in this world, as basically a sex slave. We follow her and her companion, Inga van de Klerk, as they grow together, attend school, face the bigotry, the ignorance, and the bullying you'd expect in this situation, and you can see a clear analog to the Jews during the Nazi horrors. But the book is more than that, as the kindly Dr. Van Heflin is actually secretly helping the resistance fighters with medical needs and such. Abigail finds this out and is willing and very much wants to help him with his endeavors. Without giving a lot away, things go very sideways, and the family must escape along with a wounded soldier they've been taking care of, to get to the Allies who are waiting for them to give them shelter. So they go on the run in order to save their lives. And this is where the adventure half takes place, as there's some exciting exchanges and chase scenes, and there's a great naval exchange that's a lot of fun. The first half of the book is very much a story of a young girl growing up in a world that's not her own as a slave, and the friends she makes. And the second half, like I said, becomes more of a adventure, an exciting chase, a run to save their lives. So you get a couple different things here, and that's great. Now, I'm not the target audience, but I enjoyed the read. It was done in plain, clear, simple writing, and I say it would be great for around 12 years old. But what do I know? The writing's not perfect, but would work well for that age group. I think it would be a great way to lead teens into Diary of Anne Frank and discussions of what was done during World War II and about the evils of fascism. There's a lot of potential here for parent-child conversations, so that's definitely positive. I think the cover is great. I couldn't find any artist's credit for it, though. I think the first paragraph on the back cover is inaccurate and misleading a bit and takes away from what is really in the book, but that's a minor inconvenience. Now, for the question I posted, would this book be banned? And I can't give a lot away about why that question came up, but I will say that it was a thought that popped in my head. So I contacted an acquaintance of mine who is an administrator in a pretty controversial school district, and she made me promise not to use her name or even say which district she's in, because apparently there's a lot of fear right now that they could be fired for speaking out or saying anything that's at all controversial. So thank you, and no, I will not say a word. But the answer is a soft yes. It is possible in certain districts that this book could be banned. Overall, across the country, probably not. One of its advantages would be that it's a fairly unknown entity, but it's not a hard no. Because it's unknown, it could fly under the radar, but its subject matter and stance could get it banned if a complaint was made. The biggest problem is its anti-fascist take and obvious comparison and sympathies toward the persecution of peoples from the past, and a clear warning against future possibilities. There is a clear analog to the plight of the gypsies and Jews of the 30s and 40s, and the possibilities of an alternative timeline or future could provide. Some of the books being pulled from shelves are ones that sympathize with minorities and oppressed people, and agree or not with a book's contents, it's never okay to ban a book because you disagree with its message. That's a short, simple answer. Probably wouldn't be, but yes, it would have a possibility of being banned in certain school districts right now due to its content. Anyway, I wanted to finish up by quickly saying this was an enjoyable read. It was not intended for me as a reader, and it was still something I got through fairly quickly. It's only about 201 pages. I do say this book could provide great opportunity for parents to have conversations with their children about uncomfortable subjects, and that's always a positive if you use it properly. It also gives you an opportunity to introduce your children to other reading as a soft entry in case they were resistant to read something like The Diary of Anne Frank. This would be a gentle easing into a similar style book that is aimed more at their age and with simpler writing. So that's Escape by Scott A. Ferguson Sr., a YA dystopian alternate history book. And I hope if it sounds interesting, you'll pick it up and check it out. And I hope you enjoyed this or got something out of it. Send all complaints to my manager. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate you guys showing up and spending your time with me. I hope you have a good day. And remember, the secret to Zen is to read books, pet dogs, and listen to heavy metal. See you guys later.